Okay, well, it gives me great pleasure to talk to Tony. It is Rouse or Rouse?
Rouse, you're correct. Like house, but Rouse.
Rouse. As in with fixed bayonets? Rouse?
No, definitely not fixed bayonets. No.
Tony is the host of Belmont Banter.
Correct.
And what I wouldn't mind asking you first off, before we start talking about the lovely Whitstable town, like how did the podcast come about and your love for Whitstable?
Well, my love for Whitstable first, it goes back quite a long way, probably about 25 years. I should think about then. I'd had connections with the club many, many years before, but when I met my wife now, when I met my wife, we moved to Spain for a year or so. And when I came back, I realised how much we'd been missing it. I ended up moving to a house that was only about a mile and a half away. And one Saturday afternoon, I was cutting the grass and a big roar went up because they'd had a cup game or something. And my missus said to me, "You're missing that, aren't you?" She said, "You should get down the ground." So I did, got back in.
Sounds a good wife. Sounds a good wife to me.
Well, to be honest, she doesn't like football. She loves gardening, but she's not mad on football. So I went down the ground and met one or two old faces down there. And after a couple of years, I ended up joining the committee, then became press officer. And then I had nearly 3 years as chairman, which was pretty fantastic.
Oh, wow. So, okay. Didn't know that.
It was really good. And I was very, very lucky because I had Mark Seaver as my manager. It was actually at the time he was captain of the team. And I saw a light there, which was a little bit more than a captain, and made him manager. And he stayed as player manager for about, 3 or 4 months, and then realised it was a big job and stepped down stopped playing and went on as captain, and we won the Ryman League, and it was the first time in the club's history that we got that far. So I'm very proud of that. There's a lot of people involved. The previous chairman, Joe Brown, it supported me fantastically, as did all the committee. They were really, really great. And yeah, it was a great time. Really was good. Yeah. And then as far as Belmont Banter is concerned, that brings us a bit more up to date. Yeah. I'm not involved on a day-to-day level with the football club anymore, although I do the PA announcing down there. So I'm still involved, know everyone down the club, and still enjoying it. And during lockdown, I had a couple of phone calls, more than a couple of phone calls, to be honest. A lot of them down there call me Rousey. Obviously, you know, it's like in football, they get hold of a surname and turn it into a nickname, don't they?
Yes.
So it was a case of, Rousey, what's going on at the football club? We're missing it. Because, excuse me, just a minute.
That's right.
Because we're in lockdown and everybody was moaning about not knowing what was going on. So I spoke to the chairman.
People moaning.
Yeah. Football supporters moaning. You've got it. And I spoke to the chairman, Steve Clayton, and said to Steve, I've got this idea. I fancy doing a little bit of a podcast about the players and, a YouTube video about the players and what's going on at the club. First one I interviewed was the manager, Lloyd Blackman, and spoke to Lloyd. And then Lloyd said, "We'll do some of the players." So I did some of the players, and I did some supporters. And that sort of run its course. But lockdown continued. And I thought, well, the trouble with doing a YouTube video is there's a lot of editing.
Yeah.
Because every time you get a cough or something, sometimes it's great. It looks really good because the two speakers don't overtalk each other and it really flows. Other times there's a lot of work involved, and my son was doing all that. So rather than put the onus on him, I thought I'll have a go at a podcast. And as you know yourself, it's easier to edit just the audio. So that's why I got into the podcast. And we've done, I think this week is going to be 82. So we've done 82.
I was going to say, you're up to 82 now, I think.
Yeah, it's really good, really gone well. And the premise of it is anybody that's played football in Kent or surrounding, that's even had a passing interest in football in Whitstable, it doesn't matter, because it's a bit like Hastings. Now, I was talking to our new incumbent manager a couple of weeks ago, and I threw the example of him, what happens on a Saturday when you're a manager? And I said, let me give you the example of one that's going to be a bit of a way to travel to. Take Hastings as an example. And he said to me, "Go, you pick one there, Tony." And he said, right, okay, my day on a Saturday would normally start about 10:30, 11 o'clock. I'd get down to the ground because at the time he was involved with Thamesmead and VCD, and he was talking retrospectively.
Mm.
And he said, I would get down there and I would sort out all the balls and the shirts and everything else. He said, because I used to do all that as well. Wasn't just the manager. And he said, then I'd load my car up, then I'd get my assistant come round and we all go off together. He said, I'd probably leave where I lived probably about 11:30, 11:15, 11:30. Because you know yourself, getting down to you and then conversely you getting down to us can be a bit of a trial sometimes.
A little bit of a mission, yeah.
A little bit of a mission. I like that. You're on a mission to a football match. Yeah. Great one. Yeah, and he said, so that's how my day starts, and it doesn't stop. Obviously, after the game, I chat to the players. We talk about training the coming week. He said, I'm lucky if I get home 11, 12 o'clock at night, and the game's finished at 5 o'clock. You know, he said it's just a crazy world. But you know this, Chris. Once you get hooked, you get hooked.
That's it.
Can I throw something back at you?
Yeah, go on then.
How long have you been involved in Hastings?
Well, obviously, I'm only a fan.
All right,
that's all I am. Just a Wally with a hat on. I used to West London. I used to live in West London. Moved up to Hastings about 2003.
Yeah.
Because I lived next door to QPR, so I used to go home and away QPR back in the day before kids and everything, and even after kids until it just became too expensive. So I'll go semi-regular watching Hastings once I moved down. But I'd fell out because I don't know if you know anything about QPR, but they got taken over by Bernie Ecclestone and Flavio Briatore, and they were turned into what was known as a boutique club. Yeah, that's what they referred to them as. Yeah, and I just lost my love for football because it's all about marketing. It was all about money and the closeness with the players and the actual feel of this being part of the community just completely had gone at QPR, and so I'd lost love with football. So I'd occasionally go up to Hastings, maybe I'd say 3 or 4 times a season for ages. I just didn't love it anymore. And then our current manager, Chris Agata, come in and literally just turned it all around. I mean, it wasn't just about winning. Okay. It wasn't that, because, when I went before, and sometimes Hastings were winning, sometimes Hastings were losing, even that great cup run we had, they weren't inspired to go, but the football we started playing under Chris Agata just doesn't mean we won. I mean, we weren't winning games to begin with, but it was such a turnaround, and it just made me love football again. And and particularly, I may cut a bit of this out, but particularly, over the old Brexit and everything like that. Yes. A very divisive thing. And it was really great to go to something where there was a complete mix of people, and not everyone was calling each other a fascist and a this and a this. And it was just, it was such a wonderful environment to be in, and the football was good. Yeah. So that got me back in. As for the podcast, very similar to you, I started this September last year just to keep in contact with the fans. Like, we've got a lot of older fans that I've had on the podcast, and it was also that sense of history. There's so much history that it's just not, everyone relies on the bloody internet. There's so much verbal history that's out there.
I agree.
It's not up to how many you've done, because I did take a break because we had another kid. My wife, I proposed to her at Whitstable.
Oh, wow.
I did, yeah. What a lovely area, Whitstable. Quite funny. It was around sort of 10, 11 at night. We'd had a lovely meal. I was trying to set the whole thing up to present, when should I get down on one knee? So I thought, you know what? I've got this diamond ring. I'll go down to the beach, and the reflection of the moon, she'll see it and all that. And anyway, it was pitch black. She couldn't see what I was doing. She's like, "What are you doing?" Yeah, and I'm like, "Oh, bloody hell!" Because you couldn't even see it. Couldn't even see the ring. If I'd have dropped it, I wouldn't have known where it was.
I thought you were building up to that, because it's a pebble beach and you've never found it.
Yeah, no. Luckily enough, I didn't drop it, and luckily she said yes. And it's good fun. I mean, I'm looking forward. I know my wife's going to come with me, but I'm really looking forward to going to the away game. Obviously, I'm coming to Whitstable.
Yeah, no, that'd be good. Well, you'll find me because I'm the man on the mic. So you just sort me out. Yeah, you'll find me when you come down. Now then, this game we're coming to you is on Tuesday, isn't it? Tuesday night. It
certainly is. Yeah.
Now, you know about our new manager's just arrived, don't you?
Yeah, well, I was going to ask you about that because obviously
let's lead on to that.
Yeah. So Lloyd Blackman moved on, and he'd been at your lads. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Was it about 3 or 4 seasons he's been at your?
Just 3 seasons, but it's been truncated because of COVID, so it's very difficult for him, very awkward. But let's just say a word about Lloyd before we move on to the new manager. What a lovely guy! I tell you what, nobody at the football club's got a bad word to say about him. And you know, you read these things and they say, oh, he was not pushed, there was no pressure from the board, or all that. That is absolutely true. We've played 5 games, we've got 1 point, but there was no pressure on him. A lot of the games we've lost by the odd goal, or we've played very, very well and hit the post, hit the crossbar, and you know, you're smiling because you've seen those sort of games yourself. You know,
just not going your way. Just not going your way.
No, that's right. And it all just got a bit too much for him, so he's decided to step away from football completely. So he's gone away, and I'm very pleased to say that it's an old mate of mine. I say a mate of mine in the sparring sense because
we used to beat him up.
No.
You used to beat him boxing. God, that's the first.
In the football sense, he was manager of Thamesmead for 11 years. And VCD.
Yeah, VCD. I do remember him at VCD. Yeah,
VCD for 5 years. So he's a very loyal man. And he took Thamesmead from the lower reaches of the Kent League to the Isthmian Premier League. So he knows his football. And we've come up against him. Tell you the sort of thing he does.
Yeah.
We went to Thamesmead when we won the Kent League. We won the Kent League to get promotion. And we hadn't actually won it that day, but we couldn't get beaten. And he formed a guard of honour for us to take to the pitch. Now, I mean, that shows class.
Nice touch. Yeah, nice touch.
Yeah, nice touch. I mean, actually, on the day, I think we drew, but, you know, irrelevant. We were literally there anyway. And, yes, he's a good guy. He's a gentleman. He's not one of those who stands on the touchline yelling and swearing and all the rest of it. You'll like him. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
So that's where we are.
Yeah. In terms of your manager, though, I mean, what hopes? What's your hopes? I know, obviously, you haven't started fantastic, and as you say, a little bit unlucky. You know, the bounce of the ball hasn't gone your way for the first 5 games. Are you looking at playoffs, mid-table? What are we looking at?
Let's be honest. Staying in the league.
Yeah.
Now you know you're probably aware that this season now it's 3 go down. So you know you're looking at the end of the season. It's going to be squeaky bum time. So
hopefully not for your boys. Hopefully,
let's hope so. Yes, but you know I agree entirely. So I'm hoping that this, because you've heard about the manager's bounce back, haven't you? The new manager bounce back.
Well, hopefully not straight away. Hey,
stand by Tuesday. Yeah, but so you know what it's like.
Yeah.
He's obviously only got. It was announced last night, so he's only got now between now and Tuesday to perhaps bring in a couple of new faces because he's got so many contacts. I mean, he does a radio show that's been going for about 3 or 4 years. It's called the K&D Repost Show, and it focuses.
Oh, is he on? Oh, okay,
That's
yeah,
Keith.
of course it is. Oh, of course it is. A bloody
yeah, that's Keith.
So he's a celebrity. He's a celebrity as well, is he?
Yeah. Don't know about celebrity. He's a good guy, but he's got all the contacts. Although he's not been in football, you know, like managing for about 3 years, he's got all the contacts. So you can bet your life he'll be on the phone, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see 1 or maybe 2 new faces around the club come Tuesday night. And the good thing as well, we've got a good youth set up there and a good academy. So we've lately, last 2 or 3 games, we've been playing a few of the younger lads. They've done really, really well. So I think going forward, the team's going to be a blend of youth with a bit of experience, which I think every team needs at our level.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, from a point of view of us Hastings fans, when we come to the game on Tuesday, I mean, who in the Whitstable lineup are we going to be really impressed with? Like, we're going to enjoy watching.
If he's available, there's a young kid who plays centre midfield. George McElroy,
Okay.
and he's a good prospect. He's really good. He's calm. He knows his football. Although he's only 17, I tell you what, he's a good lad. And there's 2 or 3 of them there. I don't know who'll feature, so it's a bit pointless me eulogising about players that I don't even know are going to be on in the team. Standout players for us at the moment. We've got a great goalkeeper in Dan Easton, absolutely fantastic. Jake McKenzie, left or right back, quality players. And there's a few older heads in the side, not older heads in age-wise, but older heads in game-wise.
Yeah.
Who you think, oh yeah, I can rely on
a decent spine. A decent spine. Yeah.
What about yourself, Chris? Who have you got that?
We got 11 superstars, mate. We got 11 superstars.
There we go.
No, I mean, unfortunately, Ben Pope, who's our centre forward, he's suspended. He got sent off harshly in the FA Cup win we had on Saturday.
That's always a blow, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we got players. We got Aziz on the wing. We've got.
Is he the little short guy that's been with you 2 or 3 years?
Yeah, he was with us. He left last year, and he's now come back again. And he's got
wings. He's got wings on his feet, isn't he?
He certainly has.
He's quick, isn't he?
No, he's a good right-sided winger. One of our best prospects is a lad called Tom Chalmers, who's he's going places. He's a midfield player, calm on the ball. Just way ahead of his time, someone that is playing like someone who's been in the league for 4 or 5 years, and he won't stay with us that long.
No, I know.
Unless we start going up, which I bloody hope we do, and I'm sure we do actually. But he's one going places. We've got Ryan Worrell, who's the gentleman just to the left of my head. That fella there.
Oh, yeah.
Very lovely crafty. It reminds me a little bit like a Ray Wilkins.
All right.
Like just pinging passes and all that.
I see he's got the 3 on his back. Is that where he plays?
But he's been out. He's back in again. I'm not sure. I think he will have to take the number 3 back, but I don't know what number it'll be. No, and he's cut his hair, which I've told him off about. Lovely locks there.
Well, it looks like he could do with an Alice band, to be honest.
But we've got obviously Kenny Pogue. Kenny Pogue scored for us in the cup on Saturday. Great little goal. He's your old school centre forward that's going to be all over your centre halves.
Yeah.
I don't want to give too many away. You know what I mean?
I know.
No. Honestly, it should be a good game.
Who's on the bench? Is the tea lady on the bench?
Oh no. No.
You're always going to keep your powder dry and keep someone back that you're not going to mention. I mean, I must admit, the atmosphere down at Hastings. What's the name of your ground? Has it got a name?
Pilot Field.
Pilot Field. The atmosphere down at Pilot Field is always first class. It's really good because you've got that massive big stand there, and that does focus the noise, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great place to watch. I mean, it's getting on a bit, but it's a wonderful. I mean, because we've gone around all these grounds, us fans, and we're very lucky to have the Pilot Field compared to some of these places that are just. They're just
I know what you're saying.
Yeah, I don't want to say too much, but I'll be getting hate mail. But do you do the podcast with anyone else? Is it just yourself doing it?
No, I normally do it just with myself.
Yeah.
The premise that I work on is when I interview someone, I never go on Google and Google all about them, because the way I look at doing the podcast is like us meeting today. We've met, and we've got, we've sort of worked away with each other what we want to do, where we're going to go, what we're going to say. And what I do is I ask them one question and one question only. Doesn't matter how old they are, whether they're 17 or they're 57 or 67.
Yeah.
When did you first get involved in football? What was your first love? And invariably it starts at school days or kicking a ball in the garden with my brother. And then, from there, did you play for the school team? Oh yeah, I played for the school team, and then I went this, and then I did that, and then I did that. And it's just a journey. And that's what I always tell people. It's your football journey. And the best thing about it is the feedback I get from different people. And it will be something like this. You'll get a guy who's probably in his 40s, mid-40s, maybe even 55 even. And all of a sudden, their family find out about what he did when he was 20, because they don't talk about it now. You know, if you now, you know, you've married into a family, you know, your wife's now, you don't know.
Second wife now.
All right, second wife.
5 kids.
5 kids. Good
Yeah.
God.
Grey hair under there. Grey hair.
You're only about 12, and you second wife and 5 kids.
I nearly 47, mate.
Oh, well, good for you. We've get to the stage where in the journey, when we're talking about things, and they turn around and say to me, Tony, thanks for doing that. I was a bit dubious about doing it, but I'm so pleased I did, because my sister-in-law didn't know that I played football, and didn't know that I went there, and didn't know that I did this, and she certainly didn't know that I was in the FA Cup, and I did this, and I scored these goals, and all the rest of it. So it's an eye-opener, because once you start talking, it's a bit like us talking now. Your memory comes back. You start talking about different things, don't you?
Well, it's getting the juices flowing, isn't it? Once you've got that initial juices flowing, and then you can really kind of go back and forth and get something out of the interview. I mean, you know, there has been some times where I've done it and it's just like the person just doesn't want to talk, and you think, well, why the bloody hell did you agree to come on? But you know, you can't help other people, can you? I mean,
you can't.
No, but
definitely not.
Well, I'd love to talk to you before we play you in the obviously concurring fixture. Obviously,
that's right. Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, what do they call it? Not the opposite, when it's anyway, when you come to us.
Yeah, when we
that's fine. Okay, well then we'll have a reference point of the game on Tuesday night to mull over, won't we? So one of us will be happier than the other, no doubt.
Yeah, sorry about that.
That's all right. you wait and see.
Yeah, you can give me grief. You can give me grief when you see me next.
Yeah, we got the bounce manager, don't you? We got that thing. You never know.
That was Ian Dowie. I always remember Ian Dowie, right? He was at QPR, and he said it's all about bounce back ability.
You're right.
He was the one that coined that phrase.
He did say that. That's very, very true. And there's a couple of other managers that have come in, and they've had that 2 or 3 week honeymoon period where all of a sudden they've gone from like almost 0 points, and they've got 14 points in the bag before you know where you are. You know, it's crazy. And the same players all of a sudden respond, don't they? You know,
people, isn't it? It's people.
People, people. I mean, you've just highlighted your manager, your new manager, not new manager, but your manager now.
I got English Jose.
Yeah, English Jose.
English Jose. In Aggie we trust. In Aggie we trust.
In Aggie we trust.
Yeah, Chris Agata, top man.
So he's come into the club when you, by your own admission earlier on, when you're talking about it, you weren't really in love with football. You didn't. You only went down there 2 or 3 times a year. All of a sudden, I bet you don't miss a home game now, do you?
I'll try not to. I do get a lot of grief when I miss an away game. So I've got lots. You don't listen to the podcast, but we do a round table. All the fans.
I will listen to it. Yeah.
Well, it's you might lose a few brain cells, but it's usually mindless banter. There's some good nuggets in there. It's a great bunch of people to be around. Simple as that.
All right. Well, I look forward to seeing you on Tuesday night.
Yes, and you definitely will be there, Tony. So
I will be there.
Look, Tony, absolute pleasure, mate. And
it's been for me as well.
Absolutely. And so the Belmont Banter. It's a lovely name. That's just
thank you.
Very good name there.
Well,
and
I'm sorry, mate. Yours is Sussex by the Sea or something.
Yeah, Sussex by the Sea podcast.
Yeah. Now, it's
an old song. Old song. Have you ever heard the song?
Yeah, I have heard the song. Yeah, but I must be honest. When I saw it, it didn't relate to me to football, because I thought it was. Well, it's a lovely one, Sussex by the Sea. I mean, it's nice by the sea, isn't it? Lovely.
It certainly is. Yeah.
Yeah. No, but I will give it a look.
Yeah. Just no abusive comments, please, Tony. I know you.
You wouldn't get that from me. You wouldn't get that from me.
No. Go on, sir.
No, I was just going to say, I'll see you on Tuesday night, and I'll buy you a pint.
And I might even buy you a pint as well, Tony.
Well, let's see who gets to the bar first.
Yeah, I'll race you. Well, look, Tony. Go on, Tony.
No, you finish off. It's your show. Go on.
No, go on, Tony. Yeah, this is Tony, classic podcast host. He's all over this. Go on, go on, Tony. And your last words, Tony.
It's only going to be 1 pint because I'm driving. That's all.
Fair enough. All right, then. Look, Tony, pleasure. Take care, and all the best to Whitstable. Maybe other than Tuesday, all the best for your side.
Likewise to you, Chris. I wish you, going forward, every success in every single game you play this season, except for 2. That's the one on Tuesday night, and then the reply against us as well.
Thank
anyway,
you, mate.
Take care, mate.
Have a great afternoon. Take care.
Thank you for this. I've enjoyed it. Well done.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.
You can tell